Hello students, today we will talk about life history of George Orwell. George Orwell was a British journalist and author who wrote two of the most famous novels of the 20th century, Animal Farm in 1984. Orwell was born on June 25, 1903 in eastern India, the son of a British colonial civil servant. He was educated in England and after he left Eton joined the Indian Imperial Police in Burma, then a British colony. He resigned in 1927 and decided to become a writer. In 1928, he moved to Paris, where lack of success as a writer forced him into a series of menial jobs. He describes his experiences in his first book, Down and Out in Paris and London, published in 1933. He took the name George Orwell shortly before its publication. This was followed by his first novel Burmese Days in 1934. In the late 1920s, by the 1930s, he had begun to consider himself a socialist. In 1936, he was commissioned to write an account of poverty among unemployed miners in northern England, which resulted in the Road of a Wagon Pyre in 1937. Orwell traveled to Spain to fight for the Republicans against Franco's nationalists. He was forced to flee in fear of his life from Soviet-backed communists who were suppressing revolutionary socialist dissidents. The experience turned him into a lifelong anti-Stalinist. Between 1941 and 1943, Orwell worked on propaganda for the BBC. In 1943, he became literary editor of the Tribune, a weekly left-wing magazine. By now, he was a prolific journalist writing articles, reviews, and books. In 1945, Orwell's Animal Farm was published, a political fable set in a farmhouse, but based on Stalin's betrayal of the Russian Revolution. It made Orwell's name and ensured he was financially comfortable for the first time in his life. 1984 was published 4 years later, set in an imaginary totalitarianism future. The book made a deep impression with its title and many phrases such as "Big Brother is watching you," "New Speak," and "Double Think" entering popular use. By now, Orwell's health was deteriorating and he died of tuberculosis on January 21, 1950.